The reality of the Gospel World Outreach Ministries presents the Voice of Deliverance broadcast, featuring the explosive preaching, bold teaching, and the powerful prayer of deliverance of Heaven's Ambassador, Leonard Ford. Brother Ford is a minister that does what others don't, and he has a ministry that goes where others won't. He and his wife, Jessie, travel across America and around the world, preaching hope and bringing deliverance. Whether they are in the church, under the gospel tent, or on the mission field, they boldly declare that if you continue in the word, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Now I present to you Brother Ford.
Wise men, if I didn't tell you verse 14, Proverbs 10:14. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. Now right there you can choose who you're going to associate with, wise folks or foolish folks. Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of fools is near destruction. See, the understanding is the mouth of the wise man is going to give me some knowledge. Some people are destroyed for the lack of it. Some are destroyed because they reject it. Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 17. The words of wise men are heard in quiet more than the cry of him that ruleth among fools. I'm trying to show you don't have to be a whole bunch of hoopla. I haven't told you this in a long time, but let me pause right here and inject this to stir and stimulate your mind. There's 4 things that you need to walk in any truth. 4 things you must have in order to walk in any truth. Number 1, you're going to have a revelation. Insight into that truth at your level of comprehension. See, all the truth we've been hearing this week, all the great things Pastor taught us, if we don't get insight into it at our level of comprehension, it's going to elude us. Number 2, you need a role model. You need to see this truth lived out in the life of another. See, because God's no respecter of person. If he do it for one, he'll do it for the other. But I got to see what he do and how he do it so I can do it and get the promised results. See, and that role model, in my opinion, is best when it's contemporary. Now we read, we got spiritual fathers that's going on, and we emulate some things that we were caught from them, some things we were taught by them to apply. But when you got a contemporary role model, you can watch it. And some of us are visual learners. And our spiritual fathers, now we got a couple that's still alive, but most of those that went on, we can read their stuff. Now, they stuff can answer some questions, but we can't ask their stuff questions. But see, a contemporary, you can ask them a question about this, present, what I'm dealing with right now. So I've got to get a revelation. Then I got to have a role model. And after that, I got to have a regiment of faith. When I say a regiment of faith, I'm talking about a systematic way of applying the truth in my life. See, if I don't know how to apply it, I'm stuck. So I got to have a systematic way of applying that truth in my life so I can get the promised results. And then number 4, you got to have a righteous resolve. By that, I mean a godly, righteous reason for wanting that truth. Because, see, God is not going to reveal truth to folk when their heart ain't right. Your heart's got to be right. Your motive has got to be right. God weighs the motives of the heart. Praise the Lord. All right, now, we're going to Proverbs 13. Mama Gladys Hatton, bless you. That's the first person that ever told me I was going to preach. I got saved, Pastor Steele, and God bless you, Dr. Shalom. I was, young man, excited, and actually it was Joel's dad that was preaching. He was the assistant pastor, man. I was up like, preach, man. I sat down, she tapped me on the shoulder. Didn't know her name, didn't know who she was. She said, pay attention, young man. That's going to be you one day. And I couldn't process that thought. I came out of crap houses. As far as I knew, wasn't no preachers in my family. Nobody, she talking about that's going to be me one day. I'm like, really? I think I was quiet the rest of the morning. I don't even think. I'm like, who is this lady? What is she talking about? Amen. But I found out. Praise the Lord. Mama Gladys got old school faith, Pastor. She laid her hand on the refrigerator, and the thing went back to work. The compressor was out. And she said, you got to work. Folks now won't even go down and buy one. And they got the money. Okay, Proverbs 13:20. Proverbs 13, verse 20. Remember what I'm talking about. Increase by association. Proverbs 13:20 says, he that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And a lot of folk like to run with fools, foolish people doing foolishness. And so if you're going to succeed, don't follow the folly. Okay, watch how the Amplified Bible says it. The Amplified Bible says, he who walks as a companion with wise men already is wise. He is wise. But he who associates with self-confident fools is a fool himself, and shall smart for it. It's going to sting you. All right, now increase. We're talking about increase by association. Increase to become progressively greater, as in size, amount, number, or intensity. Progression. See, it's the law of progression. It don't happen overnight. But listen now, pay attention. If it don't happen overnight, I should not be cutting off my association. See, you get around folks and you learn two things and you cut them off. I call that competitive jealousy. And then you go out, want to do something bigger than what they're doing, and don't even know how to maintain, because you cut yourself off and you didn't realize that was a transfer, that was a deposit being made into your life through the association that was taking you up, but you saw yourself go up 2 steps and then realize there's 27 more to the top. So you got to understand, increase is to become progressively greater. Progressive. See, that's why we grow together. Jesus sent them out 2 by 2. Pastor Lindsay, my spiritual father, he had a way of doing things. He didn't explain it. We just caught it and realized what he had done for us later. Give you an example. When we got called to preach, it was 11 of us in the group when I got called. And it was 11 of us, and he trained us every Monday night. He taught us how to preach. He taught us how to lay out a sermon and all those great things. But then every time somebody would get called to preach, Pastor, if you and Sister Michelle was going somewhere to preach, he said, all right, which one of y'all going with them? Well, let your brother go by himself. He said, all right, Leonard and Jesse, y'all go with them. Jesse, tell the choir director you won't be singing this week. You're going with Pastor Steele. I didn't realize he was cutting off competitive jealousy and embedding support your brother at the same time without telling us to do it. He said, when they look out there, they got to see at least one face that's with them. And see, he trained us like that, and consequently, you grew up loving your brother. You grew up appreciating your brother. See, the association is what we needed and didn't realize it. All right, to associate. Association, the root word is associate. Now watch this. Increase by association. To associate is to join as a partner. Folk don't want to partner. Now you partner with fools. You partner with thugs. You know, it was a better partnership between gang members than it was between the brotherhood in the church. It means to associate is to join as a partner, to join as a friend or a companion. To keep company with. And you know the company you keep is going to determine the destiny that you reach. 1 Samuel. I want to show you something in 1 Samuel that I think because most people preach from the 17th chapter and, you know, the 13th through the 17th chapter, I think we kind of got it still in our mind that Eliab and the rest of them boys and Shammah, they didn't care nothing about David. Especially after he killed that giant. But watch this. 1 Samuel 22. 1 Samuel 22 verses 1 and 2. I'm showing you this because it's after Goliath is dead and before David gets the throne. David, therefore, this one they were trying to kill him, he hid in the cave of Adullam. He escaped to the cave of Adullam, and when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down to him. They were concerned about the David man. They were concerned about his little brother, and they all went down to him. But watch this. Not only them, and everyone that was in distress, everyone that was in debt, and that debt means the same thing your debt do, tax with interest. Got a loan with interest on it. And you know banks now are legal loan sharks and credit card companies. You think about it. In the 50s and 60s, well, no, you couldn't charge nobody no 30% interest, 27% interest. That was a crime. And everyone that was in distress, let me pause there. Distress means bitterness. And you meet folk that's so bitter, they don't even know why they taking out stuff on you. You just met them. You said, good morning. What you speaking to me for? Well, I was raised to be polite. They just bitter. They just things that happen in folks' life, and they bitter. So when they came to David, they was bitter. So pastors, remember, bitter folk gonna come to your church. And it's your job to make the bitter sweet. You can't run the bitter off. You got to change the bitter. That'll preach next week. Everyone that was bitter, and everyone that was in debt, and everyone that was discontented, ain't satisfied with the sunrise. Why does the sun rise in the east? Why don't it rise in the northwest? They're just discontent. They're just frustrated with everything. But they gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. That's association. When they got there, they were bitter. They was in debt, discontented. But they gathered themselves, and then for him to become their captain, y'all better catch this, they had to submit themselves. See, sometimes we can't have an association because I want to be the head of the association. No. I ain't worried about that. Be the head. You going where I need to go, and you know the way to get there, so I'm going to just hook up. And there were with him about 400 men. Now, I know y'all, you pastors in here praying for church growth, but I don't think you want 400 bitter members, 400 indebted members, 400 discontented new members, got an opinion about everything and ain't afraid to voice it. I'm going to do like T.D. Jakes, get ready, get ready, get ready. That's what you call to handle and deal with. Okay, we're moving on. I ain't going to stay there. I just want to get you to see that how the condition was when they came into association, when they came into partnership. They came in, everything I just mentioned is need. They need solutions. They need help. They discontented about what's been going on, but they had enough internal insight to say, you know what? He can help me. I'm going to associate. I'm going to hook. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay with him because I'm tired of being discontent. I'm tired of being bitter. I'm tired, come on now, of being in debt. And I don't know nowhere else to go. 2 Samuel chapter 10. I'm leaving out, about 12 chapters that would have brought you to understand what this one verse here finna say. Verse 7, 2 Samuel 10:7. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the host of the mighty men. You know who these mighty men were? These folk that was discontent, bitter. See, they got associated with somebody that brought them up. And now you see them, and they call mighty men. And they became mighty. I mean, they could take a spear and defend the whole field of lentils. They became mighty men. And they also got out of debt, too. I don't have time for First Chronicles to show you they gave millions of dollars for the house that David's hand was too bloody to build. You see, David was given $1 billion and they was giving up in the millions. What happened? They associated, submitted, and increased. And that's why the devil, so one thing about Satan, he ain't slow. He see what's working. He said, let's derail that. I seen that hurt me last time. Don't let another group get a hold of that. That's when you got to be wiser than him. Let's go to Genesis now. Genesis chapter 12. Association is going to bring increase in your life if you listen. Stay associated. See, you got a lot of people, they don't stay associated. They used to know you, and either one or two things happen. Either you blew up or they blew up. Either way, they gone. If you blow up, they got to go. If they blow up, you too little. I got to go find some big wigs. I got to go get with the big shots. Brother McRae said a big shot is a little shot away from home. And that's where you, I'm going to leave that alone. Genesis 12. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country. But see what happened when Abram left his country, his daddy left with him. And so he stayed in another place until his daddy died. And from thy kindred and from thy father's house. Now what's good to leave your father's house if you ain't leaving your father? You're leaving your father's house and he going with you, so you really ain't left nothing. Watch it now. Into a land that I will show thee. That's faith. I don't know where I'm going. So you're associating with a people that just hear clearly and obey quickly. I know that's frustrating to folk when you ask the pastor, when the pastor tell you what God said, and you say, how we going to do that? He said, I don't know yet. It's going to be progressively revealed. I got phase 1. Let's get started. Well, how we going to pay for phase 2? We ain't there yet. See, that's when you got to say, you find out, can he be your captain or not? Because, you got a lot of folks want to run things. And I will make of thee a great nation. Talking to a man with a barren wife. Sarah already barren, you understand? He's telling a man right now, from the beginning, with a barren wife, I'm going to make you a great nation. Watch this. And I'm going to make thy name great. And you're going to be a blessing. You're going to be an instrument of favor, preventing misfortune in the lives of others. He's just talking to Abraham. He was Abram at that time. Watch this now. And I'm going to bless them that bless thee. See, after I make your name great, after I make you a blessing, then I'm going to bless those that bless you and you become a blessing. Well, but watch this. And curse him that curseth thee. Now, did you notice them and him? Not him, Abraham, but him that cursed thee. Them, when I was in school, Dr. Shallah, was plural, was more than one. Him was one. Why are we more messed up about the him that curse us than the them that bless us? Got thousands of them blessing us, speaking well of us, but that one, like Haman, he just moved that Mordecai. All the folk that was bound down to Haman wasn't enough. And you got folks getting distracted about him that's cursing them when him is that's cursing you, need you to pray for him because him is in trouble. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Oh, God wants you to bless more than just your house. He's telling you, you ain't going to just bless the one in your house. You're going to bless the families of the earth. See, I remember the time you sit in the church and the men of God call you out and prophesy to you. If they prophesied something like that right there, folk got jealous. It ain't even came to pass. You don't even know if they heard the Lord. They already mad. Why? I should have got that word. That tell me you ain't ready for that word. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. Now you say Lot ain't had no business being there. Well, God tell you got to be your brother's keeper. Lot's daddy is dead. Grandpa just dead, and they've already left the native country. So Abraham was obligated to take Lot along with him. So watch this now. Here's what I want you to catch out of this. Abraham departed as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him, and Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. Now he's from Mesopotamia, but he stopped in Haran because his dad is with him, and you got to leave all them to go where I told you to go. But when his daddy died, Abraham took Sarai, his wife, and watch this, Lot, his brother. I want you to notice every time we come to a passage with Lot in it, Lot does not have a wife. That's important. He is with Abraham. His dad is dead. His granddad is dead. He don't have no wife. He has no children. Abraham right now is his Sakura. Abraham right now is his Jireh. Okay? Now watch this. And he took Lot and all their substance. Lot don't own nothing. that they had gathered and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. So they had some stuff when they left Haran. And when you look up substance, it really alludes to the fact that he had a few cattle. He had some silver, some gold. He had some money. In other words, he had some means to travel. But you see here, and he took all the souls that went with him. That means he's got some responsibility. It's not just him, Sarah, and Lot. You see, he's got some things to take care of, but there are already some people associated with Abram, and Abram left there with all the people and all their substance to go forth into the land of Canaan. Lot is watching Unc. Lot is seeing what Unc is doing. He's seeing how people respect Unc. He's seeing how folk work for Unc, but honor Unc, and he should be catching the respect. He should be catching that honor, but he's looking at what Unc has and dreaming about one day, I'm gonna have some stuff. Folks gonna be working for me. See, that's the mishap. We never see ourselves staying put. Drop down to verse 14. And it came to pass that when Abram was come into Egypt, the Egyptians behold the woman, that she was very fair. Notice it don't say the women. Looking at her, ain't looking at no woman for Lot. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh. Pharaoh, man, it's a woman just showed up out here, look better than the queen. And look, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And when Pharaoh saw her, he said, who's she with? Go get him. Bring him up in here. What you want for? What is it going to take? She need to be in my harem. He entreated Abram well for her. And he had sheep and oxen and asses, men servants, maid servants, she asses, and camels. Pause. What Pharaoh just did was gave Abram herds and herdmen. He didn't give him all them cattle and make him struggle to corral them. He gave him enough men to facilitate his increase. You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes we don't stay long enough to learn how to facilitate what we said we want. And if I would have stayed with Unc and watched how he facilitated it, then when I get my own, I'll know how to handle it, and Unc and I will become a franchise instead of being separated. See, you got folk like that now. I've seen folk, and I know you have as pastors. You raise them up, they come in broke, busted, disgusted, can't be trusted, and you get them and teach them what integrity is, and they start walking, and things start happening for them. Their name become a household name, and now they don't fool with you no more. God spoke to you and told you that you was raising them up and they was going to pastor a church. You ordained them, laid hands on them, sent them out. Their membership outgrew yours, and now you ain't their pastor. You're not their overseer. You're not their bishop. You're not their apostle. They had to find somebody else. See, that's a stupid fellow. And the Lord plagued Pharaoh's house with great plague because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram. So God evidently told the boy what was going on. And said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife? I mean, you know, I plainly asked you, man. Why did you say she your sister? So I might have taken her under me to wife. That's really what I had in mind anyway. Now, therefore, behold your wife. Take her and go your way. Now, you got to understand. You take God out of this picture. The king could have got so angry, Abraham could have died. The king could have gotten so angry, he could have repossessed every camel, every donkey, every she-ass, every men servant, every maid servant. But he didn't. I'm trying to tell you, you following somebody that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for them. God gonna let you stay with them and see the transfer. And if you stay with them, they'll show you how you'll get a transfer. But in the meantime, they're gonna transfer some of it to you. People that serve you well, you don't mind blessing them. You don't mind sowing into their life. You don't mind giving them a chunk, breaking them off a piece. But you got folk that got that Lucifer spirit. I don't want no chunk. I want it all. Watch this now. Go your way. And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, And they sent him away and his wife, and what's that next phrase? All that he had. He sent him away with everything. So he left there better than he came. Now you got to understand, it was a famine. And he went in there, but when he left the land, see, we reading that verse, look like it happened overnight. It was a process. It was progressive. And Lot is there to see it all. He just saw divine protection for the wife of the leader. Chapter 13. And Abram went up out of Egypt. Now listen, he didn't go up out of Egypt while it was a famine. He was there till the famine passed by. And when he went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, here it is again, and Lot, and it does not say and his wife, and Lot with him into the south. And Abram was, there's an adjective there. What is it? Was very, was exceedingly, was extremely, was very rich. He's increasing. Watch his portfolio is diversified. He's very rich in cattle, very rich in silver, and very rich in gold. And he went on his own journey, on his journey from the south even to Bethel, that's the house of God, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning between Bethel and Hai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. See, Abraham, now you got to understand, when Abraham made an altar, it wasn't an altar just to go pray. It was an altar to worship and offer. And according to history, in Mesopotamia, they believed that you had 10 fingers, and if you worked, at least one labor of one of those fingers went to God. So Abraham was a tither before we ever heard about tithing. Before he got to Melchizedek, because of the country he was raised in, he was, even though we're pagans, he gave a tenth. So when he made an altar, that altar was a sacrifice where when Noah got off the boat, what did he do? He built an altar and made a sacrifice. Abraham, and later on we find out through Jacob that Bethel was called the house of God. He went right back there, went right back to the altar, and what you go to the altar for? To make that sacrifice. Lot is watching all of this, y'all. I'm saying
through the uncompromising message that you heard today. If you would like to have this message in its entirety, send $8 for compact disc or $20 for video to the Reality of the Gospel Ministries Incorporated, P.O. Box 164091, Little Rock, Arkansas 72216. If you would like to become a partner with this ministry, you may do so by joining the Ally 200 Club at $25 a month, or you may become a Truth Ally for $10 or more each month. Send your offerings to the Reality of the Gospel Ministries Incorporated, P.O. Box 164091, Little Rock, Arkansas 72216. If you continue in God's word, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.